You say I don't want to hear what I want to. You say I talk all the time. So things got better. Her hair started growing out, and it was awkward. I love it. You know, it was really short. It was really curly, super thick. Sometimes when she'd make me mad, I'd call her Billy, and she's like, "Don't call me Billy." It's like, whatever. But, you know, things got better. She got a new job. Speaking of work, if you're ever in a situation where you're having a medical problem that requires you to take time off or get chemo treatment or anything like that, and your employer doesn't understand or ask like how much you can work, even though they know the seriousness of the situation, cut those fuckers out. Cut them deep. Because like, work is work. You can always make more money. You can always work a shitty job. And like the company she worked for them for 9 years. Helped them live their dream of having said business. And they just did her dirty. You know, they had two separate entities, where she worked like 20 hours at one, 20 hours at the other one. So like they didn't have to give their employees health insurance. And for those who know, private health insurance is not cheap. And she was a manager for this company. You know, like when they go out of town and wash their house, this and that, you know, on a personal friendly level, and just they didn't reciprocate. So please do not fall victim for that shit. Cut them. Ninja star, sword, whatever, butter knife if you have to. Anyway, so we got to travel. I believe our first trip together, we went to Philadelphia. And for all the trips, I'll show videos and pictures and explain them, tell stories, because there was a lot of funny stories. So we went to Philadelphia, New York, Hawaii. Hawaii was a big trip because we went with her parents and her parents' best friends, Jim and Marion. And, you know, there was just a lot of times where, you know, just looking at her is just like the old new Jen's back, you know. And, you know, we went to the Green Beach, which if you haven't seen the Green Beach in person, at least Google it. It's quite a spot. And we even went to Salt Lake City. Went to the grounds of the Mormon temple. We couldn't go inside the temple. Temple. Well, for obvious reasons, we're not Mormon, but it was under construction as well. But they have a big exhibit hall, if you want to call it. So we did that and went all around downtown Salt Lake. Saw a little bit of the nightlife. Did a little hike. Went up into the mountains. It's close to Park City, but I forgot what it was, what mountain ski resort it was. Did some snowshoeing, which when we were planning this trip, she's like, "Hey, Kevin, would you like to go snowshoeing?" I'm just like, you want to walk around in snow? She's like, "I grew up in Nebraska. Like, I walked in snow for many of years, so like, I don't want to do it." Ended up doing it and having like a really good time, and we made a funny video there too. Snowshoeing. Actually, it was actually a pretty good time. I definitely was not dressed for the occasion because I'm a slacker, but that's okay. So another funny video. Enjoyed the photos and the videos and the commentary and the funny. Well, there'll be a lot of funny Jen stories, but those lyrics was from Lisa Loeb, "I Miss You," which I have a video of. The first series of photos is our trip we took to Philadelphia and New York. It was a beautiful trip. And just look at this face. Look at this face. This girl loved to walk. Our first day in New York, we walked 17 miles and my feet were killing and she didn't care. If anyone's ever been on vacation with Jennifer, she walks at her own pace. In these photos, you can see her walking away from me until I asked her, hey, let's take a photo. And she stopped. This was our spot, our Airbnb in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Bridge. And of course, you have the Brooklyn Bridge, you have to play CSI victim number 35. We stopped for cheesecakes in Philly. And just look at that. Then I didn't realize until I revisit this photo, like what a hipster couple we look like. Our good friends Joe and Shannon, we met in Chinatown and the subway. So let's talk about the funny Jen story. So there was a mentally somewhat slow individual selling cookies, chocolate chip cookies on the subway. And he came up to Jen and he's like, hey, I really like your haircut. I was like, oh, this dude. He's like, I'm selling cookies, $2 for 2 cookies. And Jen, being a nice person she is, she's just like, okay, I'll buy some cookies. And he's just like, you want to be my friend on Facebook? And she's like, sure. And she got her phone out. He's like, oh, let me type in my name. And so she handed him her phone on a full subway. No, we're on the train. And I'm like, I got up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to chase this dude down and get a phone, potentially beat him, and no one's gonna give me respect for my athletic ability for being almost 40, chasing a 20-year-old down. But the guy next to me told me he does this all the time and don't worry about it. He's not gonna run off with the phone. But I had, as you can see, I had to sit Jen down and tell her about the dangers of buying random cookies from random people in the subway. Then we went to Hawaii with her parents and her parents' best friends, Jim and Marion, and it was just a great trip. Like, it's been such a long time since she was diagnosed, like, seeing her like this happy, and just doing all the water things on the beach. And this is one of my favorite photos of me and her. I think we're about to go to a dinner, which if going vacationing with her parents and Jen is like herding cats. It's just like everyone's gonna do their own thing, but I loved it the whole time. The legendary Green Beach on the Big Island. It's a magical place. Like, I've never seen something so pretty outside the Hoover Dam. Like, that was ridiculous. And I just remember her looking at me as we jumped in and out of the water, and just like, she just looked so relaxed and just at peace. And it was just something. And like, it wasn't like a brilliant green, it was like a darker green, but still it was that's amazing. And we rented a GoPro when we would go snorkeling, and come to find out, we both really didn't know how to work it correctly. And this is one of the only few good photos we got, because every time we try to shoot a video or take a picture, we're actually churning it off. Pretty much one of the best investments I ever made in renting something. $65. Best photo right there. Our Salt Lake City trip is a nice city, one of the cleanest downtowns I ever experienced. Like, if I would drop food in downtown Salt Lake, I would eat it off the sidewalks because it's that clean. And this is outside the Mormon temple, and she's just having a great time. It's snowing, has her galoshes on. When we went snowshoeing, as you see, I was not appropriately dressed, cold and unhappy, our matching boots.
Here we are in northern Utah, experiencing the female Southern California Yeti. You can always know they're them by their trademark black outfit and colorful hat and large steps and big feet. Most of the time when they're walking is usually through a wine vineyard, so this one's a little bit out of her element. Might be slightly confused, might be slightly happy. Either way, this is nature.
You say I talk so